Okay, here's a quick little demonstration on how to draw a dome that's above the horizon line. In my last demonstration, I showed you one that was below the horizon line, and here's one above the horizon line. So first you have your horizon line. I will put it about here and measure that over. For the sake of this demonstration, I'm just going to have my vanishing points very close. However, if you want a more realistic point of view, you want to have those vanishing points much further out. But just to make sure that they're all on the same page for this demonstration, I'm going to have them a little close. So I have a corner building here that's going to extend above the horizon line to below the horizon line. And then the bottom goes to the left vanishing point and the right vanishing point. Okay, and then we have the top will go to the left and the right vanishing points as well. And this one here. Okay, and then we have vertical lines to show the width of the building. I'm going to make this a little bit of a narrow building, more like a tower. So I'll have it here, and then maybe I'll have this part over here. There we go. Okay, so I have my corner building, and I need to figure out how to draw a dome on top of it. There are some other more mathematical ways of approaching this, but this is probably a quick way to make sure you're getting your dome as accurate as you can without doing a really elaborate mathematical process. So what you want to do is you want to draw a line straight up from the corner of your building. Okay, and this works best for the corner of the building. After I'll demonstrate on another one. And that's going to be the high point of your dome. And sometimes round domes on rectangular shaped buildings don't look that realistic. You don't see that much in architecture. Usually they transform this part of the building into maybe a hexagon. But we could talk about that later. So first you would have the high point, and then you want to figure out how big your dome is. Is it going right to the edges of the building? Then you want to work on that curve going over. The higher your dome is, the less rounded it will be. It would be a little bit more elongated if you have it higher. If you have it lower, then it's going to be more of a rounded dome. Okay, and then you just have to work on getting sort of symmetrical shapes on either side. From there, you could add various shapes for the design. Keep in mind, if you're doing like concentric rings, they would all be angled down toward the vanishing points, or like making little frowny lines. You can add all sorts of decorations onto it to make it look more realistic, or like the dome in Florence has a cupola or a little cap size thing on top that you can add on top. And those are just some ideas for a quick way that you can have a dome on top of your building. That works really well for a corner shaped building, but what do you do if it's not on the corner? So let me draw another building over on the side and get the top. So let's imagine we have a building here. Okay, so this is a building. I have a building here and a building here. And let's say I want to have another dome on this building. That approach, you would have to do the X through the front of the building to make sure you get where the center mark is. You can use a ruler for this. I'm just lazy sometimes. Okay, so that's the center point of my building, and then I draw a line straight up. And that will give you where the center point of this building is. And just like on this demonstration, you have to figure out where the top, how high you want it to be. And then you curve it. Now, if you just draw this sort of flat, it will look more like the facade in the front is curved. And that's good if you wanted to make it look like just a curved rooftop. Then you can sort of add a line on the side and have a curved facade in the front. If you want it to appear a little bit more like a dome, that's going to happen a little bit more with the shading. And again, that doesn't always look realistic with a flat fronted building. You may want to transform this building into a hexagon. And I'm going to show you how to do that first right here. On the corner building, if you want to transform it into a hexagon, you have to have a flat front. So the flat front here, you can transform the corner into a flat front like this, okay? And then you would have that part going here and that part going here, and then you would erase this line here. I'm not using the best eraser here. I don't have my Stellar Mars eraser to use with me right now, but you can get the idea. By just transforming the corners of the building into a flat one-point perspective, it makes it a little bit more realistic, this dome shape on top. So how do you do that on a flat face here? Well, it's not terribly easy. You have to imagine this building being shaped more like this. And in order to do that, you have to decide whether the flat front is going to be lined up with the street or pushed out. For the sake of this demonstration, I'm going to do it lined up with the street. So I'm going to make the front part of my building here, maybe like this. I want to make sure this X is in the center, okay? And then I need to have this part go to my left vanishing point here, and this part go to my left vanishing point here. Okay, so now I have a building that is going back in all the way to the side. That gives me an idea, and I won't see this part because that part is hidden. So let me just erase some of these extra lines so you can kind of see what I have so far. So right now I ended up with a very narrow building, but that's not right because I have my dome. So what you need to do is, that's if it's a right angle. You need to kind of compromise those angles. So you draw a line in the middle, okay? And that gives you that sort of little bit more of an angle there. And then you can draw the fronts of that to make the dome. And then the dome over here would end, and you would make the curve go back over there. I'm not sure if this one makes as much sense to you in this demonstration. It's a little quick, but, and I have a lot of lines going on here. This line here, let me just erase some of the extra lines so you can see a little bit more clearly. So you would draw it like it's a 45-degree angle, and then you would divide it in half, that angle. This one would go from there to here, and drawing that in half would be about to there. So this is the corner, this is the front of the building, this would go down there, okay, and then you would have your dome on top. I hope that's helpful and gives you a little bit more insight into a quick way of drawing a dome on top of your buildings, and you can kind of get some ideas on how to work out those problems.